All right. All right. The record is in progress. It's official. Welcome to day two of S.O.A.R Business and Entrepreneurship. This is the fall session of 2023, and I am the professor for today, Professor J.R. Dawkins, my well, not my full name, but that's what I go by. I'm a junior. So welcome. And so we're going to do a little recap today. So the goal for the end of this entire series is that you all have a better understanding of business from a general standpoint and entrepreneurship, right? So business and entrepreneurship go hand in hand. And, so from a top level, you have businesses that are operating, right? And they're established, they're big, they're well known. But most of them, if not all of them, started with someone called an entrepreneur, right? Someone who had a vision, who had an idea for something, and they started this business. All right. So that's what we aim to do. So on this slide, is everyone seeing my slide? I know some people might be on phones. Who's on a phone today? Who's joining from a phone? Jamie, you on a phone? Okay. But if there's anything that you're not seeing good, let me know, and I'll try to read through some of the slides because I'm trying to be mindful. Folks are joining from different kinds of devices. So we talked about last time we asked who was into business, who wanted to start a business, who wanted to who uh, who joined to learn more about business, to learn more about college, or both, right? A lot of folks said they joined to learn about both business and college. So in the later courses, we're going to go deeper into things like business writing, right, and resume writing. So we'll get to that in later courses. The first class was focused on the fundamentals or the foundations of business. This class is foundations of entrepreneurship. So we're going to dive into that. From here, we're going to go to the applications of business and the applications of entrepreneurship. So taking some of the ideas and talking about how we can apply those ideas further. And for the business on entrepreneurship, for this cohort, what we want to have you guys complete is a business plan, right? So by the last week, you all should have a draft of a business plan. So there is a template of the business plan in the Google Classroom, right? And we're going to go over it today. So today we're actually going to spend more time going through the business plan. And the goal is at the end of this, you have your own business plan. So this could be a business you're legitimately thinking about, you're interested in it, or this could just be a business you choose just to go through the practice of writing a business plan. So that's the business and entrepreneurship focus, right? Speaking high view for this whole cohort, we are going to get into writing as well. So you'll literally have a class that's focused on writing, and you'll dive deeper into that. And then for the final presentation, we are going to have you guys do a quick presentation. So for this cohort is going to be simple. It's going to be like an elevator pitch, right? We're not going to have you go too deep, but we're going to practice getting in front of people and talking to them about yourself and your business, right? So that's one of the goals, and it doesn't have to be long. Again, the goal is actually to do an elevator pitch. So an elevator pitch is, who knows what an elevator pitch is? Who's heard that term already? You could drop I see Jamie raised her hand. Jamie, can you share with us? Can you come off mute and share what you understand as an elevator pitch, like what that is?
I thought it was like, isn't it like a short, like a 30-second, like you introducing yourself, right? Like what you
Right,
do?
right, close. So yeah, so it could be for yourself, right? You could picture anybody on anything. So for our purposes, we're talking about a short pitch on your business or your business idea. So entrepreneurs, once you work on your business plan, right, you read through your plan and then you think about, all right, what do I need, right? What am I doing, right? And then if you were to meet someone who has $1 million to offer you, how would you tell them about your business idea in 1 minute, right? So the goal of the elevator pitch is to communicate what is it you're trying to do, how you're trying to do it, right? And how they could help or how they could pitch in. So that's what entrepreneurs eventually get good at doing, like saying, hey, my name's JR. I have this idea to start an app that helps people with their cars. I think it could be a great opportunity. Many people want to get help with their cars, but there's no app for that, right? And I think if I got $10,000, I could get someone to build this app for me, right? Exactly. Think of Shark Tank. Who knows what Shark Tank is? If you know what Shark Tank is, drop an S in the chat. Maggie knows what it is. Cool. And I think I saw some other folks raise their hand. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, so definitely think of Shark Tank. That is a version of it. All right, so this lady that I have on the slide, Madam C.J. Walker. Has anyone heard of Madam C.J. Walker? Maggie, okay. Savon, yep. Um, Maggie, can you share a little bit about what you know of Madam C.J. Walker, who she is?
I learned about her in my cosmology class because my teacher was speaking about her. She says that she was like the first woman to hold a conference or something like that.
So she definitely was one of the first in many ways. So yeah, conferences, but also even she was the first, she might be the first woman overall, first female millionaire. She was at least the first Black female millionaire, but she was a big deal. And for those that are interested, there's actually a Netflix documentary that they did on her too. So she was an entrepreneur, right? She her first products focused on solving a problem that the market was not solving. They were not products for the hair of Black women, right? The hair products on the market were actually damaging to the scalp and to the hair of people that had coarser hair, right? So in getting her product to market, she addressed an audience that was not even being addressed, right? So the, those are one of the things to think about too. Like if you're coming with a product, what problem is your product solving, or your service? If you're coming with a service, what problem is your service solving for, right? Um, and sometimes you're bringing something new to an audience that isn't there, and sometimes you're just having a different thought process on how to do it. So hair products existed, but they didn't exist for Black women. So that's what Madam C.J. Walker brought to the light. All right. So we're gonna review a little bit. Um, you could drop it in the chat. You could come off mute. Oh, I clicked a little too fast. I was gonna say who can share, who can remind us what the goods producing sector includes. But since it's already on the screen, all businesses that produce tangible goods. So we talked a little bit about, from a high level, you have the goods producing sector, and you have also the service producing sector. So as a business, the more you know about where your business fits in the world, in the market, the better you can tweak your business, right? And so what about producing? Goods producing sectors focused on business that have tangible goods. Go ahead, Savon.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so the service producing sector, they don't make tangible goods. They give services to people to make money. So that could be like lawn mowing, stuff like that.
Exactly. So just understanding these high level things helps you as you're building your business and putting everything together, so that you know where you fit, what are you competing with, and also help you hone in on your service or product, right? Because sometimes you might think you have a product, but you're more so a service provider, right? So it's good to know the differences because it helps you to focus your time and energy in the right way. Any questions on that? All right, I'll breeze through some of the so we also talked about small business versus large business, right? What's the difference, right? How does one define a small business versus a big business, right? So some of those that are here for the first time, I want to give you an opportunity. So Maggie, Alyssa, Akalia, um, what's the difference between a small business and a big business? What are some ways that you would kind of classify that or call out the differences? You can drop it in the chat or come off mute. Small business versus large business. Okay, no worries. So I'll open up to anybody else. Just a quick recap. Go ahead, Savon.
So we said that a small business is a business that has, or a bigger business is a business that has more than 500 employees or makes 700 million in total annual receipts, I believe, and a smaller business is anything below that.
Right. So the 7 million is the number. 700 million will be amazing, but 7 million is the number that, so the Small Business Administration, so I took this from the Small Business Administration. This is how they define it. But there's probably other ways to define small versus large businesses, like in addition to this. But these are just some general guidelines here. So ultimately, when we start a business, we're all starting a small business, right? And the goal is to grow it into something bigger and greater over time. All right. All right. So here's what we're gonna spend some decent time going over, right? The strategic business plan. So the reason this is so important, and we dive into it a bit more, is because your business plan is what's going to guide you, right? If you have a great idea, um, but you don't actually execute it right, the idea kind of never really comes to the light. So you want to have a good business plan in place, so that way, you can maximize the potential of your idea. So the first thing we talked about was the vision statement, right? And the vision statement we shared, that's something that initially kicks off your process as your North Star. And I want to go over that a little bit. I'm just getting another screen up here, so that way we could talk about it a little bit more. So who was able to I think everyone wrote a vision statement. Did everyone write a vision statement on Tuesday? Some did. Right. So for those that didn't get a chance to do that yet, do we all have some kind of business ideas, or do we need, some to just pick some examples to practice with? All right. So if you didn't get that vision statement, I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Oh yes, welcome back, Nina. Good to have you. All right. So what I want to do is switch back over here real quick. All right, so in the Google class, there is a link that goes over this. It's from thehartford.com. And I chose this link specifically because they give very clear kind of like overviews of what each one is. So just as a quick refresher here, and I really want to get this because this is the foundational elements, right? Are you all seeing the Hartford, the website? So for business, thanks, Jan. for business, right? The first thing you want to have is your vision statement. This sets up what your purpose is and why you are in business, period, right? So if you don't have a vision statement, you could get off track here and there and kind of lose your direction, right? So I'll just pick one here that one of out of the six here that I felt was very clear and accurate, right? So Google's vision statement, their overarching statement for their entire business, right, is to provide access to the world's information in one click, right? So you think about that, right? You click Google, you type in whatever you want. There's you're now accessing information that you did not have before, right? And this was actually pretty revolutionary in the overall scheme of how the internet works. We can get into that another time, but yeah, being able to search the World Wide Web was a big thing. So that's the vision, right? So everything that they build falls under that vision. So when you think about your vision statement, think about, what is the overall goal for my business, right? Where do I want my business to go, or what do I really want my business to do for the world? And then with your mission statement, the mission statement is close to a vision statement, but it's more specific, right? So, for example, CVS Health, their mission is helping people on their path to better health, right? So it's more of this is what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. So mission is closer to the day-to-day basis. Are you guys hearing me? Okay. I think someone might have an issue. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Got it. So the vision is overall. So that could be like long term, where you want your business to get, or just what world problem you want your business to solve over time. Whereas the mission is like, this is what we're doing from a more of a day-to-day basis. From there, you have your goals and objectives. So your goals are the mile markers along the way. So on the way to your vision, what are the goals that you have? So those might be your long-term goals. And then short-term goals would be, what are the things that we're trying to do like on a monthly basis, right? And it could be as simple as like make X amount of profit, or serve X amount of customers, sell this amount of product, provide service to 10 people. Like, you set your goals up for what makes sense for your business. So after you have your goals, you have your action plan. So your action plan is like, all right, how am I going to hit these goals, right? So if I want to sell 100 shirts a month, what I got to do to get those 100 shirts sold, right? Got to buy the shirts, got to get designs, got to print the designs on the shirts, got to find people, got to sell to the people, right? So that's like your action plan of putting all those things in place. And it's just good to write down those steps. Again, we write these things down so that way we can be on track, and we can, not lose sight of what we're trying to do. We can measure our growth and our success, and see if we're doing good, and we can make adjustments along the way. Having it written down also helps when you're trying to figure out, hey, why is this not working? What can I do different? So that summarizes the business plan. They have scorecard in here. Scorecard is basically measuring your success. So ideally, your action plan is, in a way, like your goals and action plans are measurable, right? So notice I said it's gave the example of sell 100 shirts in a month, right? That's measurable. You have a number, you have a time period. So for whatever you're setting up for your action plan and goals, you want to have some kind of measure there, and that will feed into your scorecard. So maybe you sold 50 shirts for the month. All right, you're halfway there, right? Month one. So month two, you can chip away a little bit more, and so on and so forth. Does all that make sense? We get it? Any questions on strategic business plan? All right, I did a lot of talking, so now I'm gonna Gonna switch it up. All right. So let me hear from you guys. How would you define, sorry, not how would you define, who are some entrepreneurs that you admire, if any? You could drop the names in the chat, or you could come off mute. Who are some entrepreneurs that you admire, if you have any? Savon?
I talked about her before, but I'm gonna say my aunt. One I admire her because I think I've seen her process of getting from where she was to where she's at now, moving to several places, working at different places to build on her skills, and like seeing photos of the way that she used to braid and the dolls that she had from when she was younger, and what she would do on them. It's just like to see her growth from then to now is amazing, to her owning her own shop, to having people work for her, and work with her. And I think that that's beautiful. And it's like just to be like in that moment with her and to be one of her clients, to be, I guess, one of the things she used to work on, when I was younger, is beautiful. So that's what that's one entrepreneur that I admire.
That's awesome. Awesome. That's a great example. Anyone else want to share? You can come off mute. Go ahead, Brianna. And then Gian, you can share after.
Okay. Mine is more like a question. When you say
Mhm.
entrepreneur, do you like mean like could it be like a person from a business nonprofit? Because then I would have an example.
Yeah, not nonprofits a business too. Somebody has to start that up.
Okay, so basically I have in my sister's bo ex-boss, she started her own charity where she makes donations, she has auctions and stuff in which she has to reach out to many very famous people to get stuff for the auctions and to raise money to provide services to a lot of children in need. Like, for example, she provided a lot of backpacks, I believe, for people who were suffering through an environmental crisis. And
Mm,
she took a lot of financial risks because sometimes she can't get all the money all the money from just donations, so she has to put her own money into some of these things. So yeah.
yeah, awesome. That's a great example. Thanks for sharing, Gian.
The entrepreneur that inspires me is Stephen Jobs because I believe he truly started from ground and built a great company like Apple.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, started from the bottom, started from nothing. And an interesting piece of his story was when the company started doing very well. Does everyone know what it means to go public as a company? So when you start your business, you own the business, right? So that's considered being privately held because it's just you and whoever is working with you. When the company goes public, your company is on the stock market, and everyone like you and me can buy shares of the company. So that's what it means to go public. When they went public, they hired a CEO, someone that's supposed to be the official head of the company to run the business as a publicly traded company. And they fired Steve Jobs because Steve Jobs and the CEO didn't see eye to eye. He told the board to make a choice, and they chose the CEO. And Apple did horrible after that for years. And Steve Jobs made another company to basically take down Apple. He started Pixar during that time, Next Computer, and um, sold Pixar to Disney for billions of dollars. Next Computer was taking Apple's market share. And then they hired him back because they're like, well, come back over here and please course correct. And that's when they went into the next phase of the company where they launched the iMacs and everything else. So interesting story. Steve Jobs, definitely someone to look up. and read about. But yes, thanks for sharing. So yeah, these are all great examples, and it's also great when it's someone that right? Like, while we could read about Steve Jobs, it is another thing to be able to be like, no, I know this person. Like, I would literally know this person, could call them up, could ask them for advice, talk to them. So thank you all for sharing. What I want to do next is I do want to just play a quick video. The video speaks to how companies go to market, how companies actually grow, right? So we're going to watch a video. It's basically about marketing, right? So the first thing you want to do is get your business plan together, understand what you're doing and why. But then once you have that completed, you need to do marketing, right? You need to communicate to the world what your business is, why it's there, why they should use your service or buy your product, right? So in doing that, the question then becomes, how do I market my business? How do I talk to people about my business, right? So we'll watch the video and then we'll start talking more so about marketing and the two sides of marketing. Sounds good? If you can't hear it, let me know, but I think we should be good to go. Well, wait, what happened? Sorry. I am. All right, my autoplay isn't working, or I'm skipping a step somewhere. All right, so I'll circle back to the video in 1 second. Let me pull it up on YouTube.
Yara, did you click the button at the bottom of the share screen?
The share audio button?
Yeah, share sound.
Yeah, but it's advancing the slide instead of playing the video. That's why I'm like,
oh, okay.
Let me see. There we go. I got it.
How do you explain when things don't go as we assume? Or better, how do you explain when others are able to achieve things that seem to defy all of the assumptions? For example, why is Apple so innovative? Year after year after year after year, they're more innovative than all their competition. And yet, they're just a computer company. They're just like everyone else. They have the same access to the same talent, the same agencies, the same consultants, the same media. Then why is it that they seem to have something different? Why is it that Martin Luther King led the civil rights movement? He wasn't the only man who suffered in a pre-civil rights America, and he certainly wasn't the only great orator of the day. Why him? And why is it that the Wright brothers were able to figure out controlled powered manned flight when there were certainly other teams who were better qualified, better funded, and they didn't achieve powered manned flight, and the Wright brothers beat them to it? There's something else at play here. About 3.5 years ago, I made a discovery, and this discovery profoundly changed my view on how I thought the world worked, and it even profoundly changed the way in which I operate in it. As it turns out, there's a pattern. As it turns out, all the great and inspiring leaders and organizations in the world, whether it's Apple or Martin Luther King or the Wright brothers, they all think, act, and communicate the exact same way, and it's the complete opposite to everyone else. All I did was codify it. And it's probably the world's simplest idea. I call it the golden circle. Why, how, what? This little idea explains why some organizations and some leaders are able to inspire where others aren't. Let me define the terms really quickly. Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. It's always a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care? Well, as a result, the way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. It's obvious. We go from the clearest thing to the fuzziest thing. But the inspired leaders and the inspired organizations, regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Let me give you an example. I use Apple because they're easy to understand and everybody gets it. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Meh. And that's how most of us communicate. That's how most marketing is done, that's how most sales is done, and that's how most of us communicate interpersonally. We say what we do, we say how we're different or how we're better, and we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a vote, something like that. Here's our new law firm. We have the best lawyers with the biggest clients. We have, we always perform for our clients, do business with us. Here's our new car. It gets great gas mileage. It has, leather seats. Buy our car. But it's uninspiring. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? You ready to buy a computer from me? All I did was reverse the order of the information. What it proves to us is that people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. This explains why every single person in this room is perfectly comfortable buying a computer from Apple. But we're also perfectly comfortable buying an MP3 player from Apple, or a phone from Apple, or a DVR from Apple. But as I said before, Apple's just a computer company.
I'll stop it there. So that's really what I wanted to get to. So I'll let you guys share any takeaways. Is there anything? Yeah, Rosie. Any takeaways from that video? Anything that kind of came across as a wow moment for you, or something that you might not have thought about in terms of marketing? Go ahead, Brianna.
It's crazy to me how the idea of the fact the ideas are the same. It's just the order of which you say them would persuade the audience to actually buy your product.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And when you work from the outside in, it was a little different too. Savan?
For me, I'm not necessarily shocked at the fact that many companies start from what, how, and then go, or may not know their why or go to why. And I think that the companies who do succeed when it comes to knowing why they do what they do are very authentic and very personal. And I think that they design the things that they do because they know that, to get to the people, they have to reach their hearts before they reach their pockets. And so that's cool.
Yeah. Absolutely. Any other thoughts or comments or questions? Yeah, so definitely something to consider. And the reason I show this video every every time is because it's something so simple, but it can really change the trajectory of how fast you're able to grow your business, right? Because especially if you're going into a market where there's already existing services that's like yours, or there's already existing products like yours, the why is something that could really set you apart. Connecting your personal story to the business and setting the business up and going that route can be really something really powerful to set you apart from everybody else out there. This video is old, right? He mentioned MP3 player, which no one says that or uses that anymore. DVR, right? But the concept is still very true, right? You're selling the why, not the why. And we see this actually in today's world with influencers, right? There's a big demographic of people that buy things now based on what the influencers are using. We see it in the beauty space, we see it in the fashion space. Purchasing trends are leaning into, oh, there's an influencer that I follow. Like it could be anything. They're influencers for like cooking, right? And it's like, oh, they bought this pot. I want to use a pot that they're using, right? So, and that we're into the influencer because we understand their why. They're into this product or service because they love it. You know, something happened in their life. It's changed their life. When you understand the why, it's just a much more powerful connection. It feels more personal and inspirational. So think about that when you're thinking about your marketing. Definitely start with the why as you transition out of, and this also ties into your vision statement, right? So when you have a solid vision statement, the why comes pretty easily. It's like, oh, I know why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? It's a part of it. And then you tie that into your marketing. All right. So one quick thing. We are gonna have time for Q&A if anybody wants to talk more, especially for those that are catching up and starting their strategic business plan today. I'll be able to stay on until 8:30 if you guys want to go through a Q&A, whether this is your first day or second day. And we could, dive into certain things like the strategic business plan, what goes into each section. We can ideate and talk a bit more about that. We'll have some time. We'll have some breakout time before that, but just in case you guys want some more time to work on that. So we are going to take a, let's see, what time is it? 7:13. So we'll do a quick break. So we'll come back at 7:20. And we'll jump into the next part of tonight's session. So take a break, grab something to drink, something, quick little snack, whatever you got to do. We'll be back at 7:20. Cool.
My kids need attention. I forgot to mention that my partner got a snitch. Now I'm independent. She pray to God, he forgive me, Lord, please. Pray for all the folks in the bunk. Crying late at night for all the boats, stay the sun.
Praise the Lord, when I'm counting up, grace is amazing. Spin it black if I pull up on Satan. And I'm from the A, can I please get an amen? Thank you, Lord, when it came a long way from the basement. At the bottom, we were shivering, shaking. It was too cold, can I please get an amen? In a minute, I told y'all this bigger than Guinness and we ain't even finished. Cause in the slumber, the police done caught him like Dennis the Menace and gave him a sentence. About 2 times I done ran from the cops. Then they came up in beds, no stocks. Good times. Cause it taught me that thou shalt not be living high. I felt swell till I got caught. No, I did not tell when they put me on the spot. It's too hot, are you ready or not? It's too hot, are you sliding or not? It's too hot, are you riding or not? It's too hot, I might take off the top. It's too hot, I might skirt off the lap. It's too hot, they gon' hate when you pop. It's too hot, I can't play with no op. It's too hot, I can't play with no cop.
I can't get off on my pivot. It's been a minute, struggling but I've been delivered. Get back to painting these pictures. I'm making movies, total, let's get it. Hot like a Middle East winter, Saudi December. Y'all know the team full of winners. We've been working your team was beginners. Doing business with a kingdom agenda. They don't like it when we eat with the sinners. Spirit come meet us for dinner. Boy, we legit, no pretender. Jesus, we still represent him. Yeah, light it up, burn it up. Boys too hot, better double up. Run it up, run it up. Running with the king, no one, none of us.
Ready or not, it's too hot, are you sliding or not? It's too hot, are you riding or not? It's too hot, I might take off the top. It's too hot, I might skirt off the lap. It's too hot, they gon'
Welcome back, everyone. All right, so this is it. I wanna guess I didn't make it to room 4. Sorry, room 4. I was popping into each room, just seeing how everybody was doing. So you guys can share. So basically, I just wanted who came up with their vision statement during the breakout room time. Go ahead, let's hear it. Anaya, you could go ahead and share. Is that how I say it? Is Anaya correct?
Yeah.
Cool.
I want to sell skincare products and like make some of them.
I love the skincare product industry.
Me too.
And I'll share more on that on why later, but I don't want to hold y'all too long because we getting to 8 o'clock. But I love that one. That's awesome. Who else didn't? Akalia, this is your first time, and big up Jamaica, Spanish Town. You done know. But go ahead and share your vision statement. And I'm trying to think who else was first on today. Maggie. Okay. Did you form a vision statement, Maggie, today? How'd that go?
So I didn't form a mission statement yet, but I do know what I have in mind. Like since I'm like currently studying cosmetology and stuff like that, I want to do like maybe a massage or facial business or something like that.
Okay. It was breaking up a little bit. What was the business you mentioned?
Something with like massaging or facials.
Facials and massages, you said? Okay. I used to have a Massage Envy membership. Me and my wife both did. Then the pandemic happened. But great time to get back out there. Anybody else want to share their vision statement or just feedback from the process of going through the vision statement? Like what you found worked out well, what coming together, if you had trouble coming up with your vision statement or your mission statement. This is our talk time, so we got to talk. Who wants to share a little bit about their process so far, like what you found easy or hard, challenges?
Well, since I want to do clothing, it's kind of like what would you say to that? You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of clothing businesses, so I really have to think what would make mine different. You know. So what I
Yeah,
can, I kind of like. Okay, so what I want on my like on like a sweater or something is like higher level of consciousness. So I could say like clothing to expand your mind. Would that be something?
So that comes across as a good tagline.
Yeah,
Am I
tagline,
echoing?
right? Vision statement.
So that comes across as a good tagline. So the vision is, what's the purpose, right? So what's the purpose of your clothesline? Like what impact do you want to have?
It'd be like reasonable prices so anyone can purchase.
Okay. And let's scale that up even further out. So reasonable prices. So why do you want to have reasonable prices?
So it could be like a, what's the word? Not obtain, but like, so anybody could purchase, not like something like $40 where it's like, damn, that's expensive, or like 60, or something like 20, 25, reasonable.
Right, but I guess the question I'm asking is what is driving you, or what do you believe, why do you believe you need to have reasonable prices, or what's the thought process behind that?
So like people and like the lower community, like if they wanted to purchase it, they can, you know?
Got it. So your vision statement should be like that far zoomed out, right? Like, so think about a sentence or two that will communicate that background, right? So, you know, making clothing for everyone, or, you know, something, it's going to be something in that realm. Like, why are you doing the clothing? Why are you starting it? Typically the vision statement is speaking towards that. And then your mission statement will be closer to what you just said, right? So, um, affordable clothing for every person, or something like that, right? So the mission is closer to like, this is what we're doing every single day. Like, we are, you know, making affordable clothing, or affordable clothing with style for everyone. You know, while the vision is like, man, what do I really want to accomplish in 10 years with this business? Like, what do I want to tackle? What I want this business to change or impact.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Cool.
Thank
you. No problem. Brianna, did you have a question?
Oh, I
Or you
didn't have.
wanted to share?
Yeah, I wanted to share it. Just because I wanted
Okay.
feedback on it. Um, so I wanted to create an aesthetics business, focused on a variety of different products. So it can range from skincare to jewelry to makeup, stuff like that. And my vision statement was to create the better version of you. And then my mission statement was create a various amount of different aesthetic products that are accessible, friendly, and be used by many people, because I know that there's some like products that aren't easy to open. And for people who have, disabilities, I would want it to be more accessible.
Okay. That is so you're tackling multiple pain points and problems. So this could be broken down in some ways, meaning it seems like potentially accessibility is at the core, right? And fun fact, a lot of things that we use on a day-to-day basis came from solving for accessibility, right? Sidewalks and having the curb that lowers to the street, that was an accessibility issue for wheelchairs, because people in wheelchairs trying to get across the street and then drop into the street, and then they can't get back up. They got to do a little wheelie to get up, right? So they're like, hey, we need to make sidewalks and streets a bit more compatible with wheelchairs, right? Then everybody benefits from it. And also, I think why they put the knobs, like in major cities, typically there's knobs on the sidewalk when it gets to the street. So accessibility itself could be the sole focus of your vision and mission statement. Even if it's like accessible products for everyone, kind of thing. Because that feeds into the greater population. And the other thing about accessibility, we studied a lot at Yahoo. A lot of times folks think of accessibility as something that some people deal with, but we all have some level of accessibility at some point in our life, right? Whoever stubbed their toe and for those 10 seconds you couldn't really stand up straight, right? You were temporarily impacted, but then more impactful things could be someone twists their ankle. Now they can't put weight on that ankle. You broke your leg. You know, there's a lot of different levels to it where you might be temporarily, in that situation. So it really does speak to everyone. And maybe you have your both arms, but I broke my wrist one time, so now I couldn't use my right hand. So I had to do things a bit differently. Go ahead, Rihanna.
Oh yeah, the reason why I wanted to make it accessible is because I have anxiety and sometimes it gets so high and I can't control it, so my hands start trembling. So when I try to put on makeup, it makes it very, very difficult for me because I can't do anything straight or I can't open the product itself. And that's why I kind of wanted to make these products.
Yeah. No, that's definitely, thanks for sharing. And that's definitely something that you want to pour into the story of why, right? Um, but yeah, I love that. And for the mission statement, possibly like getting it on paper and playing with the sections and like the points in the mission statement, seeing, what parts of this can be removed but still tell the full story when it's there. Um, and I only say that because these are things that are like your North Stars. They're setting your direction, but then in your greater strategy and your goals, now you're fleshing these things out, right? So that's when you're like, hey, everything that I make needs to be accessible, right? That's could be a long-term goal or a goal that's always pinned at the top. And then you continue to go through your goals in that manner. All right. All right. So it is after 8, but we are able to stay on. I'm able to stay on for another 30 minutes for more questions, thoughts. Anyone else want to talk through their vision or their mission statement or their business plan? I
Share
think
the,
some folks.
sorry, the survey for those who can't stay.
Oh, yes. Let me drop the survey in here for anyone that needs to bounce. Give me a second. Thank you all for participating today. One day in the future, we're gonna have a S.O.A.R version of Shark Tank, but even before that, we got some things in the works. We got some entrepreneurial pitch things that we'll have where you guys could get things started. All right, here we go. All right, grabbing this link real quick. Rosie, I'm only seeing the survey for the last class. I don't see this. All right, give me a second. Does anyone need to drop right now? One, if anyone needs to drop, let me know. But also, if anyone has any questions, you could go ahead and ask your question if you have a question. Go ahead, Zavon.
I was wondering if I could also share my mission statement because we added to it and talked about it, me and Andrea.
Okay.
So basically, what I wanted to do is be a public speaker, specifically a Black activist. So my mission statement was, hold on, so I wrote it down. To give voice to those who don't have one and to reach those with voices and spread awareness about Black excellence and issues that still need work in the community. So that came about because of the fact that I was telling her I went through a whole situation with certain people who disrespected me and said a lot of things when it came to like my culture and being Black, and those people were in my community. And so I decided to start a club this year, and it's called the Black American Culture Club. And so a part of the reason why I want to do what I do is because I noticed the lack of communication, the lack of miseducation, and the lack of unity within my people. And so it's something that became important to me, especially during that time of healing from the pain that was caused towards me, going through that. And then now I saw my way through it, and Miss Rosie was talking about how either you let your past bring you back or push you forward. And so I decided to allow me to grow. So that's what I wanted to share.
That's awesome, and that's powerful. I think, speaking to something you had to overcome is always, comes from a powerful place because it connects with others, right? And none of us go through situations as like sole individuals, meaning there's always others that could identify with what you've gone through, if not now, in the future. So and you shared the vision. Did you share was that the vision or the mission that you shared out?
I shared both the mission statement and the vision.
The mission statement. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, so now how do you work that to start into your goals?
I think that like my starting goal was just to get an audience of people, one, and then to express like what I want to do to them. And I guess kind of like form that to the group of people I'll be speaking to, which would be mainly the Black community, but also others who want to learn. So my goals would just be to understand how to communicate what I want properly, and like also find out what the source of the problem is, and then understand how to reach those people. And that may be through just coming together as one, and that may be through discussions or workshops or bringing people in. And that's something that I'm deciding as I work through my club. And so knowing that now, I feel is going to allow me to grow in that later on. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, think about even short-term goals, like first place you're gonna speak at, or if you're ready to speak, what are you doing to get ready to speak? So on and so forth. Because you even want to have those written out, so I that way you're always making some progress towards your end goals, right? So awesome. And S.O.A.R might provide some opportunities for you to speak, so we can always, I know Miss Rosie would be happy to invite you to speak at some S.O.A.R function, so whenever you're ready. Who else? Anyone else want to share or have any questions? Want to get some feedback on your vision or mission statement? All
Okay,
right, so all right, go ahead.
So for the vision statement, I want to make clothes more accessible, right? And then like for the future, like I want to be able to give back to the community. So
Okay.
how would I put that into words?
To make clothes more accessible, I think that's a good start. Like,
And be able to give back.
um, you want to include the give back part in the vision too.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you could start with to make clothes more accessible. while giving back to those in need or something like that. And you could always reshape it, switch out words in the future. But yeah, sometimes just starting kind of with the plain and simple, what is it I'm trying to do? And over time, you might come across some more savvy writers than myself and and tweak it to fit however your brand fits. Because we're gonna go into advanced, we're gonna go into branding, where you're finding your brand voice, you understand how you want to come across to the public, so on and so forth. So we'll talk about that a little bit more, but that's a good start.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. All right, so I'm gonna drop the email for, just in case anyone doesn't have it. So info@letssoarnj.org is our main email. So this will shoot a message to myself, Miss Rosie, Miss Latoya. Oh, I spelled it. I'm gonna put an N instead of an R. Boom. So if you guys have any questions in between time, definitely shoot an email here. We're, for those, I think everyone should be in the WhatsApp or have gotten an invite to the WhatsApp. So there's that channel too. As far as the business plan, keep working at it. The idea is by the time we reach the end of the course, like the last class, you would send in your business plan draft. So this business plan doesn't have to be perfect, right? This is not going to be graded and like, hey, this is missing it. This is really just for you to just go through the exercise of writing a business plan. Going through this exercise will help you just in your critical thinking process, but also just understanding how businesses work in general, because you can then turn around and apply this, if not for your own business, for somewhere that you may work in the future. So, and also for school, right? For college, for those that want to go to college, right? You're kind of setting yourself up in a similar way, right? You got to pick a major. Why are you picking that major? What are you trying to accomplish? What do you want to do when you graduate, right? That's all kind of like vision, goal setting, having a plan, following through. So it's a good exercise, and it's something you can walk away with and utilize for your future. So for those of you that are leaning into starting a business, going the entrepreneurial route, please lean into it. Ask as many questions as you want. For those that are just doing it more for exercise, just to get the practice in, just to kind of be exposed to it, still have some fun with it, like utilize it and have some fun with it. Any questions, any other questions before we drop? Did everyone get the survey?
Yeah. Where's the website? The website. Like, how do I access that?
Tiana might need to send out because some folks sign up to after the first class, so I'll make sure they add you into that. Because she'll use the number that you used on the registration.
Okay.
All right. Anyone have any other questions, thoughts, concerns? All right, cool. So the next evening will be Tuesday. We'll be going over applications of business. So we'll be going in a little deeper. So if you completed the survey, thank you so much. Have a good night and enjoy your weekend.
Bye.
See you.
Bye, everybody.
I had a personal question about like the Google Classroom. Is there any assignments there? Because like all I see is from 2022, and I was wondering if we're already starting something, or do we formulate the business plan on our own based on the classes that we've had today? Because like I'm a little
Yeah,
confused.
there is one template. So yeah, so basically I didn't change anything. So there's a template in there called in the section that says fundamentals of business, strategic business plan assignment. There's a PDF in there you can use as a template.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
No problem. Kalia, did you have any questions too?
Yes, I did. So I was thinking about like doing free healthcare for like the people who are less fortunate or like the homeless people, just like regular checkups. You think that's a good idea?
I do. I mean, some places do it in a city, like they'll like they might have like a van that goes around and they're literally just like, if you need a checkup, come here. If you need, you know, medicine, come here. I've seen dentists, so definitely needed.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Definitely needed. Oh, she said thank you. I thought she said that's what I'm thinking. All right. Brianna, did you have any other questions?
Just something to do with backing with the aesthetics company. I was wondering that I'm already planning to start it. Like I'm already formulating how to start a website and everything. And I was just thinking that with the thing about accessibility, should I probably add like, because I'm also gonna have like pictures of other people wearing whatever I'm like making, and I was wondering if I should use like diversity in terms of like the people I choose to show the products. For example, if they have acne prone skin, different color skin, you know, if some of them are disabled, you know, just different types of people within my actual thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like your if your product is meant for everyone, then in your marketing and branding, it should be as representative of that, right? Versus having just one like ethnicity or gender, or non-accessible people. Like, so you definitely you're on the right track. Like, you want to be as diverse as possible, especially since your audience is everyone, right? So definitely that's the way to go. You see some brands now starting to lean more into that. Like, even like when I walk into Target, I notice the mannequins aren't all the same anymore, right? They have different shapes, sizes, heights, and everything like that. So definitely leaning into the right way, and you know what, that's going to get you further along quicker, right? Because the more people that see themselves in your product and your branding and marketing, you know, the broader and faster your audience will grow.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye now.
No problem. Bye. All right, Savon.
Okay. Hi. So what I wanted to share with you was my club proposal, I guess, because I think it looks like a business proposal to a certain extent. So it has the details that I talked about. So I didn't know if I could like share my screen or not to show you because I have
Sure.
the power.
Let me see. Does the share screen button show up for you?
Yeah, I have it on my screen. But
Okay, go ahead, and
I
it's not
can't do.
working.
Yeah, because
All
it's
right,
just
hold on.
disabled it or something.
All right, try now.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, so here is my club. This is the Black American Culture Club. And so I was again showing you because I think it has like the key factors of to like what the business proposal should look like. So there we go. So this is a little bit about me. I'm a sophomore. I'm in Keen Scholar Academy and I take college credits in Keen Scholar Academy. So right now I'm taking history and language arts. So at the end of high school, we should have an associate's degree. I had all honor roll last year. I was in NJRTC last year. I'm the Chinese Club vice president. I'm a member of JA Finance, where we go to elementary schools and teach children about economics and money. I was the LHS tennis manager at my high school for the boys team, and then the LHS volleyball manager for the girls team all last year. And then here's my why. I have 5 main reasons. So my personal experience, education, culture, family, and unity. So my personal experience includes many incidents of people who were the same race as me and peers of mine, who said certain things to me. So there was racially degrading comments. You have no culture. You're just Black. It's dumb to go and tell people you have a culture. Microaggressions, being alienated, undergoing peer pressure, feeling left out due to disrespectful things being said and done, targeted, being picked out during conversation to be disrespected culturally, and then bullied, being sent wade in the water, showed a picture of a man being lynched, and asked if it was my Uncle Joe. So those are some of the few things that I went through personally, that are part of why I want to start the club. Education. So there's a lot of lack of education and miseducation of the Black American culture specifically that has been going on for a while in schools and in the world. And then a lot of what's talked about just the slave trade, but that's not what Black Americans are made of or what defines who they are. And the Black experience in America pertaining to those who are descendants of chattel slavery in the US have made huge contributions to the creation of America and the whole world. But the funny thing is just that there's a lot of lack of pride and loss of clear identification because it was stolen from them, and they're typically looked at as more of a negative group than a positive. And we only have February, and even that isn't depicted solely for the reason it was created. And then we have unity. So the truth is that, many Black Americans have created opportunities and or given opportunities for many people. And the resilience and fight that they have instilled in generations of their children and themselves is what should be celebrated by everyone. And so I want not just us to take pride in who we are, but everybody to take pride in who they are and what they have contributed to the world. And then I want various organizations and clubs to be unified in the negative conversation because we're stronger together. And then there's culture. So Black American culture is everywhere. It displays struggle, happiness, perseverance, and love, plus a lot more. And to showcase that in the club, we would have guest speakers, presentations, and then reading material. Family. So to bring the Black community together, we will offer support to our group members and all aspects of their lives. We will celebrate them and then create that comfortable space in the dialogue, where the dialogue can continue because, again, we are one. And I think that there's a lot of problems within the Black community when it comes to, family, when it comes to lifestyle and what's been going on for several years. And so I think we have to get to the root of that. And I think that starts with talking about it. Club specifics, this would just be for my school, like when we want to meet, stuff like that. But the trips I would like to take are, to museums, to towns, libraries, and schools, because I went to the National African American Museum. And I love that. And I want them to go and see that because that was something that was beautiful. And then, the events like the cookout, family reunion, invite HBCUs representatives and the Divine Nine to come to the school, and then workshops. Then finances is based on trip approvals, event approvals, and fundraisers. The summary, which is my mission statement, is to educate and recognize various cultures within the Black community and then have the space to continue the constant dialogue. And any questions from you?
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I had to come off of mute,
Yeah.
but that was how old are you? I'm sorry, Savon.
I'm 15.
Wow, I wish at 15 I had that mindset to want to lead. I was more focused on what was like popular. So I played a lot of basketball during the time and try to work, did like volunteer work for like schools, but yeah, you're at a whole nother level. So one thing that I would say that's inspiring is that you have a mindset of a leader, and not many people have that mindset because leaders have a mindset of wanting to bring about a change. Excuse my kids in the background. Um, um, you know, want to encourage you. Um, with all that's like in your with all that's in your mind and all that you desire that you want to do, um, continue to continue to believe in that mission. You know, you're gonna get a lot of people that don't understand it. Some people just not gonna understand the mission, regardless how well you explain it. But it's that was powerful. Like just just listening to it. So definitely, I would tell you that if you believe it, like no one's not gonna push it more than you are. So you have to drive that. And when people see how passionate you are, and how driven you are, um, it's gonna be like a magnet. They're gonna gravitate to that, and they're gonna want to join that same mission. And that's the important piece. Like I think for any business is when you have a mission and it's believable. People can understand it, it's obtainable, but they also can believe it. They can visually see it. So when they see that you out there and you actively doing these things, not just because it's on paper, but you actively doing it, it makes them want to gravitate to that. So I'm gonna defer on that, but I just wanted to say that.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, picking up from that, the beautiful thing about what you're doing is, well, it's kind of a blessing and a curse. You are the business, Savon John, right? So that's your platform, the identity, that's the soul of that business, right? Of your, you're literally looking to be a speaker, an activist, right? So the website is savonjohnson.com, right? The Instagram is Savon Johnson, the TikTok, whatever you're gonna do is gonna be there. Now the blessing is because it's you, it's something that, like Leon said, the passion is undeniable. People can see it and feel it. And this is something you have already started, right? So I can't say, oh, you could easily start. No, you already started it, right? So it's like, okay, what are the next steps, right? Is it, saying, you know what, I'm going to start to do 60-second inspirational, reels on Instagram? Is it, I'm going to, literally just go, write out whatever my inspiration is, look at it, internalize it, record it, share it, right? Because now, if the goal is to start to build, not so much a following, but more so a trail of impact, right? You can start like you can just start speaking, right? That's kind of the beauty of today's world is like there's platforms that you can jump on and start to track. Now, where the business plan comes into play is, yeah, you still want to sit down, take from your presentation, format it out, and say, here's the vision, here's the mission. Now, what are my goals? What's my goal for this month? What's my goal for the next 4 months? What's my goal for the next year, the next 5 years, right? And you do that. So as you go along, you can check things off like, oh, yeah, I've been doing all of this. So what am I doing next? Oh, it's here. What am I doing next? Is this. And of course, you're going to be adding to that. You're going to be making some tweaks and adjustments. But yeah, your presentation gives the framework, right? The business plan is for you on the inside of this saying, what am I doing and how do I measure that I'm accomplishing my goals? And then how often am I circling back to check in and make sure that I'm on course, right? So there's certain things you'll check daily, certain things you check weekly, certain things you check monthly, bi-monthly, each quarter, right? And as you go along, you might tweak your goals or add to your goals. So you might come across a certain organization.
Mhm.
You say, you know what? One of my goals is to represent that organization or join that organization because
Mhm.
that organization speaks to what I'm trying to do. That organization is all about helping those that have been abused or that have been bullied. So I want to be a part of that organization, right? Or you might see an individual and see, you know what, they utilize their platform in this way, and I found it impactful. So maybe I model the way I utilize platforms after the way they do it,
Mhm.
right? Maybe I try to connect with them if that works out. Sometimes the people we unfortunately we get inspired by might not be the person that actually helps us.
Mhm.
Sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. But hopefully for you, you're able to connect with those that inspire you, that you can, that can help you grow. But yeah, take your deck and start to bracket that into the business plan format and start to do goals that are short and measurable,
Mhm.
monthly and measurable, yearly and measurable. So that way you just have that, right? And then you can uh work with that, tweak it, and grow.
Mhm. And I appreciate that. And one thing to add is that, I did just get into the Schomburg program in Harlem, New York, where we learn about Black culture and stuff like that there. So that's exciting. And I think that that is also going to add into the business plan and stuff like that. And then here I joined S.O.A.R because, everybody may not have gotten into this or been able to do this, but I'm able to give my knowledge to them on the things that we do here so that we can also grow in that aspect. So yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Listen, so definitely looking forward to, seeing the growth. And like I said, S.O.A.R, we definitely love to support our scholars and see how we could help you along that path.
Mhm.
All right. But
Okay.
yeah, anything you want to share for us to look at in depth, you can definitely shoot us an email, and we can keep working on it.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the feedback and everything.
Great.
No
Have a good
problem.
Mhm.
Have a good night. Have a
You
good
too.
weekend.
Bye.